I thought I knew how to read people. 38 years as a criminal defense attorney taught me to spot a lie from across a courtroom. I could see the micro expressions, the tells, the tiny cracks in someone's story. But I never thought I'd need those skills in my own living room. My name is Richard Holloway. I'm 67 years old, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had the perfect retirement planned. My wife Catherine and I were supposed to be traveling, enjoying the lakeside cabin I'd saved for, watching our daughter Emma build her own law practice. Instead, I'm standing in a police station watching my daughter get arrested. Let me back up. It started with my cardiologist, Dr. Reeves. I'd gone in for a routine stress test, nothing unusual. Catherine came with me like she always did. We'd been married 42 years. She knew my medical history better than I did. Dr. Reeves ran the test, checked my vitals, and asked Catherine to step out for a moment. That's when his expression changed. "Richard, I need you to listen very carefully," he said, closing the door. His hands were shaking slightly. "When you get home today, I want you to check your safe. Do it when Catherine isn't around." I stared at him. "What are you talking about?" "I can't explain right now, but please, just check your safe. Look at your property deeds, your will, your financial documents, everything. Is something wrong with my heart?" "Your heart is fine, Richard. Better than fine for a man your age." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "But I think someone is trying to make sure you don't live long enough to enjoy it." The blood drained from my face. "Who?" Dr. Reeves glanced at the door. "Check your safe. Then call me on my personal cell." He handed me a card with a number scrawled on the back. "Don't tell anyone about this conversation, not even Catherine. Especially not Catherine." Catherine drove us home. I sat in the passenger seat, my mind racing. Dr. Reeves had delivered 2 of my grandchildren. He'd been our family doctor for 20 years. He wasn't prone to dramatics or conspiracy theories. If he was warning me, something was seriously wrong. "You're quiet," Catherine said, squeezing my hand. "Is everything okay with your heart?" "Perfect bill of health," I managed. "Just thinking about that new case Emma mentioned." Catherine smiled. "She's doing so well, isn't she? Taking after her father." I looked at my wife. At 63, she was still beautiful. Silver hair, laugh lines around her eyes, the same warm smile I'd fallen in love with in law school. We'd built a life together, a home, a family. Why would Dr. Reeves tell me to suspect her? That evening, Catherine went to her book club. She kissed me goodbye at 7 o'clock, same as every Thursday. "Don't wait up, honey. You know how Linda talks." The moment her car left the driveway, I went to my study. The safe was behind a painting of the Montana ranch where I grew up. Catherine knew the combination. We'd never kept secrets from each other. I opened the safe and pulled out the document folder. Property deeds for our house, the cabin, the small rental property downtown. My will, Catherine's will. Power of attorney documents, life insurance policies. I started with the house deed. It took me 30 seconds to see it. The signature wasn't mine. Close, very close, but the loop on the R was wrong. I'd signed thousands of documents in my career. I knew my own signature. This deed had been forged, and according to the date, the house had been transferred into Catherine's sole name 2 months ago. My hands started shaking. I checked the cabin deed. Same thing. Forged signature, transferred to Catherine. The rental property, transferred to Emma. My will, different from the one I'd signed last year. This version left everything to Catherine and Emma in equal shares, but it also included a clause giving them power of attorney if I was deemed mentally incompetent. And the witness signatures? I didn't recognize them. The life insurance policy had been updated too. Doubled. Actually, $2 million. With Catherine as the sole beneficiary. I'd never authorized that increase. Someone had systematically transferred every asset I owned out of my name, and that someone had access to my safe. I called Dr. Reeves. "You found it," he said immediately. "How did you know?" "Because Catherine came to see me 3 weeks ago. Alone. She asked me to certify that you were showing signs of early onset dementia." The room tilted. "What?" She had a whole story prepared. Said you'd been forgetting things, getting confused, making poor decisions. She wanted medical documentation to support a competency hearing. He paused. Richard, I've known you for 2 decades. Your mind is sharp as ever. I told her no. She asked you to lie? She offered me $20,000. When I refused, she threatened to file a complaint with the medical board, claim I'd been overprescribing your medications. His voice hardened. I started paying attention after that. I noticed she'd been researching heart medications online, specifically, drugs that could induce a heart attack in someone with your medical history. I couldn't breathe. You think she's trying to kill me? I think someone is setting up a perfect scenario. Elderly husband with a heart condition, showing signs of dementia, transfers all his assets to his wife, then has a fatal heart attack. No one would question it, but Catherine loves me. We've been married 42 years. Check your medication bottles, Richard. The ones in your bathroom cabinet. See if the pills look the same as they usually do. I went to the bathroom, pulled out my blood pressure medication, dumped the pills into my hand. They were a different shape, slightly larger, different color. Oh God, I whispered. Get out of that house, Dr. Reeves said. Tonight, right now, and call someone you trust. I stood there, staring at the pills in my hand. My wife of 42 years was trying to kill me. But why? And then I remembered. 2 months ago, my old law partner Henry had died, left me his share of the firm in his will. $2.5 million. Catherine had been so happy for me, said we could finally do all the traveling we'd dreamed about. I'd signed the papers to accept the inheritance 6 weeks ago. 1 week later, the forgeries started. I heard a car in the driveway. Catherine's book club ended at 9. It was only 8:15. She was home early. I quickly put everything back in the safe, closed it, straightened the painting, flushed the suspicious pills down the toilet, and refilled the bottle with the real ones I kept in my study desk. Went to the living room and turned on the television. Catherine came in through the kitchen. Richard, you still up? Couldn't sleep, I called. How was book club? She appeared in the doorway, but she wasn't alone. Emma was with her. My daughter smiled at me. Hi, Dad. Mom said you weren't feeling well, so I came to check on you. I'm fine, sweetheart. Just tired. Actually, Dad, we need to talk. Emma sat down across from me. Her expression was serious, professional. This was her lawyer face. Mom's been worried about you. She says you've been forgetting things, repeating yourself, getting confused about dates and times. My heart started pounding. That's not true. She showed me the evidence. Dad, your calendar has appointments you don't remember making. You left the stove on 3 times last month. You forgot your own grandson's birthday. I stared at Catherine. She looked back at me with perfect, practiced concern. I didn't forget anything, I said carefully. And I haven't used the stove in weeks. You know I can't cook. See? Catherine said softly to Emma. He doesn't remember. Richard, honey, I've been cooking for you every night. You just don't recall. This was insane. Gaslighting. A coordinated effort. Emma, I said, keeping my voice steady. Why are you really here? My daughter reached into her briefcase and pulled out a document. We think it's time to make some arrangements for your care. I've drafted a power of attorney that would allow Mom and me to manage your affairs if your condition worsens. My condition? The dementia, Dad. Emma's voice was gentle. Too gentle. Dr. Reeves confirmed it. Dr. Reeves told you I have dementia? He told Mom you refused testing, which is a classic sign of denial. Emma slid the document across the coffee table. I looked at the power of attorney, at my daughter's neat signature at the bottom, waiting for mine next to it. And if I don't sign? Catherine's expression flickered, just for a second. Then we'll have to pursue a formal competency hearing. It would be public, Dad. Embarrassing. All your old clients would know. Your reputation. There it was. The threat. I picked up the pen. Emma actually smiled. I signed the document. My real signature. Thank you, Dad, Emma said, taking the papers. This is for the best. You'll see. After she left, Catherine made me tea. You should get some rest, honey. You look exhausted. I watched her drop something into the cup while she thought I wasn't looking. A pill. Dissolved quickly. Thanks, sweetheart, I said, taking the cup. I think I'll drink this in bed. She kissed my forehead. Sleep well. I went upstairs, poured the tea into the bathroom sink, and started packing. But I didn't leave. Not yet. Because I was a criminal defense attorney, and I knew exactly what I needed. Evidence. I spent the next 3 days pretending. Pretending to take my medication. Pretending to be confused. Pretending to forget conversations we'd just had. Catherine and Emma started visiting more frequently, documenting every episode. And I documented everything too. I'd installed cameras in my study weeks ago when I thought we had a break-in. Tiny things, hidden in the bookshelf and the desk lamp. They uploaded directly to a cloud account Catherine didn't know about. On day 4, I got careless on purpose. Left my real medication bottles visible in the study. Acted like I'd forgotten to hide them. That night, Catherine and Emma came to the study while they thought I was asleep. He's still taking the real ones, Catherine hissed. The pharmacy bottles. How is he getting them? I don't know, Mom. I thought you replaced everything. I did. He must have a backup supply somewhere. Catherine paced the room. We're running out of time. The competency hearing is in 2 weeks, and if he seems too healthy, the judge won't grant it. What about the plan with his heart medication? Too risky now. Dr. Reeves is suspicious. If Richard dies suddenly, he'll push for an autopsy. Emma was quiet for a moment. What if there was an accident? My blood ran cold. What kind of accident? Catherine asked. The cabin. Dad goes up there alone sometimes, right? To fish? The stairs are steep. The railing's been loose for months. Emma's voice was clinical, detached. Old man with dementia, loses his balance, falls down the stairs. Tragic, but believable. Catherine nodded slowly. When? This weekend. I'll suggest he take a trip. Clear his head. You stay here, establish your alibi. I'll go with him. Make sure everything looks right. And the power of attorney? Already filed. Once he's dead, everything transfers to us immediately. The inheritance, the house, the cabin, the life insurance. All of it. Emma paused. 2.7 million, split between us. Plus whatever we can sell the properties for. My daughter. My only child. Planning my murder like she was drafting a brief. I recorded every word. The next morning, Emma called. Hey, Dad. I think you should take a few days at the cabin. Get away from the stress. I'll drive you up tomorrow. That sounds nice, sweetheart. Great. I'll pick you up at 8. I called Detective Morrison at 9. We'd worked together on dozens of cases over the years. He was the only cop I trusted completely. Richard, what's going on? I told him everything. Sent him the videos, the forged documents, the recordings. Jesus Christ, he whispered. I need to catch them in the act. If I don't go to that cabin, they'll just try something else. Absolutely not. You're not using yourself as bait. I'm already bait, Tom. I have been for months. The only question is whether they succeed. We argued for an hour. Finally, Morrison agreed to my plan. Emma picked me up at 8 sharp. I acted confused, forgetful. Asked her the same questions twice. She played along, patient and concerned. The drive to the cabin took 3 hours. Emma chatted about her cases, about her new boyfriend, about the vacation she was planning to Costa Rica. Like she wasn't planning to kill me in the next few hours. We got to the cabin around 11. It was isolated, no neighbors for miles. Perfect privacy. Why don't you rest, Dad? I'll make lunch. I went to my bedroom. Texted Morrison. We're here. His response. Team in position. Don't let her get you near those stairs. But I had to. That was the plan. At noon, Emma called me for lunch. I came out of the bedroom, deliberately unsteady on my feet. You okay, Dad? Just dizzy. Must be the altitude. She smiled. Let's eat on the back deck. The fresh air will help. The back deck was at the top of those steep stairs. The ones with the loose railing. I followed her outside. Beautiful view, I said, walking toward the railing. I gripped it, made it wobble. This really is loose. I should fix it. Don't worry about it now, Dad. Just relax. I turned my back to the stairs, looked out at the lake. Emma, I said quietly, I know what you're doing. The change in her face was instant. The mask dropped. Cold calculation replaced the warmth. What are you talking about? I know about the forged documents, the fake medications, the plan to push me down these stairs. She didn't deny it. Didn't even look surprised. How long have you known? Long enough to record everything. The conversation in my study. The one where you and your mother planned my murder. Emma's jaw tightened. You're bluffing. Am I? Check your phone. I just sent you a copy of the video. She pulled out her phone. Watched 30 seconds of the recording. Her face went white. That's inadmissible. Recorded without consent. In my own home? In Massachusetts? Actually, it's perfectly legal. I smiled grimly. You should have paid more attention in evidence class. Emma's hand moved to her jacket pocket. When it came out, she was holding a gun. You weren't supposed to know, she said. You were supposed to just die. Peacefully. But you had to be difficult. Like I was difficult when I paid for your law school, when I got you your first job, when I co-signed your apartment lease. You never gave me anything. Emma's voice cracked. Everything I have, I earned. While you sat on that inheritance like a dragon hoarding gold. $2.5 million. Dad, you didn't need it. You were already comfortable. But did you share it? Did you think about me? Drowning in debt? Barely making rent? You make $80,000 a year. You're not drowning. It's not enough. It's never enough. Mom understood that. She knew what it was like to be married to someone who nickel and dimed everything, who said we couldn't afford vacations or nice things because you were saving for retirement. Her hand was shaking. Well, guess what? You're retired now, and you still won't spend it. So, we decided to spend it for you, by killing me, by inheriting what should have been ours anyway. Emma raised the gun. This wasn't how I wanted it to go. But you've backed me into a corner. The fall story won't work anymore, so it'll have to be something else. Delusional old man with dementia, attacks his own daughter. She shoots him in self-defense. I have the documentation to prove you were unstable. Your own doctor's notes. Forged notes. Who's going to prove that after you're dead? I heard footsteps on the stairs behind me. Emma's eyes flicked past me, widened. Emma Holloway. Drop the weapon. Detective Morrison came up the stairs, his own gun drawn. Behind him, 3 more officers. Emma's face went through shock, rage, and finally cold acceptance. She lowered the gun, didn't drop it. It's over, Emma, I said. Is it? She looked at me, and for a moment I saw my little girl, the one who'd sat on my lap while I read her stories. You really think I'm going to prison? A respected attorney, defending herself against her unstable father? My mother will testify I acted in self-defense. We have all the medical documentation. We have the power of attorney. We have everything. You have nothing, Morrison said. We have recordings. We have the forged documents. We have testimony from Dr. Reeves about the bribery attempt and the internet searches for lethal drug combinations. And most importantly, we have you, on video, planning your father's murder. Emma's lawyer mask cracked. That was just talk. We never actually intended. You pointed a gun at your father 30 seconds ago, with 4 witnesses. Her hand tightened on the gun. Don't, I said quietly. Please, Emma, don't make this worse. She looked at me. Really looked at me. And I saw the moment she decided. Emma dropped the gun, put her hands up. I want my lawyer. The officers arrested her. Read her rights. Led her down the stairs in handcuffs. I stood on the deck, watching my daughter disappear into a police car, and felt something inside me break. Morrison stayed with me. We picked up Catherine an hour ago. She's already confessing, trying to blame everything on Emma. They'll turn on each other. Usually do. He paused. I'm sorry, Richard. Me too. The trial took 8 months. Catherine pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and attempted medical malpractice in exchange for 12 years. Emma refused to plea. She went to trial, representing herself, and put on a hell of a defense. Claimed I was delusional, that the recordings were fabricated, that she'd been protecting herself from an unstable father. The jury didn't buy it. Neither did the judge. Emma got 25 years for attempted murder, conspiracy, fraud, and forgery. She'll be 71 when she gets out. My age now. I testified at both trials. Watched my wife and daughter sit in the defendant's chairs where I'd represented so many clients over the years. Listened to them blame me, blame each other, blame society. The hardest part was the victim impact statement. I stood in front of the judge, looked at my daughter, and told the truth. I loved you more than anything in this world. I would have given you everything I had. All you had to do was ask. Emma stared at the table, didn't meet my eyes. But you decided I was worth more dead than alive, and that's something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. The courtroom was silent. I spent 38 years defending people accused of terrible crimes. I always believed everyone deserved a defense, deserved justice, deserved a second chance. I still believe that, but I also believe in accountability. My daughter tried to murder me for money. My wife conspired to end my life for an inheritance. They don't get to walk away from that. They don't get to blame their choices on anyone but themselves. I looked at the judge. I'm asking for the maximum sentence. Not because I hate them, but because they need to understand that actions have consequences. And maybe, somewhere in the next 25 years, my daughter will figure out that the things that matter in life aren't the things you can buy. The judge gave Emma the maximum. Catherine, too. I donated the entire inheritance to a legal aid charity, every penny. Set up a fund in Henry's name to provide free defense attorneys for people who couldn't afford them. The house sold quickly. I moved to a small apartment in Portland. Started volunteering at the local law school, mentoring young attorneys. Sometimes students ask me why I gave away millions of dollars. I tell them the truth, because my wife and daughter tried to kill me for that money, and I won't let them have died for nothing. They don't understand what I mean, and I don't explain further. But here's what I learned. Standing on that deck with my daughter pointing a gun at my chest, money doesn't just reveal character. It replaces it. When you put a price tag on love, on loyalty, on family, you stop seeing people as people. You start seeing them as obstacles between you and what you want. My wife and daughter didn't wake up one day and decide to kill me. It was a gradual thing. A slow erosion of empathy, a creeping justification. He doesn't need it. We deserve it more. It would be easier if he was just gone. They told themselves those lies until they believed them, until murder seemed not just acceptable, but logical. That's the thing about greed. It's not sudden. It's not dramatic. It's a quiet voice that says you're entitled to this until you forget what entitled even means. I think about that a lot now. When I'm teaching young lawyers about ethics, about right and wrong, about the law versus justice, I tell them, the scariest criminals aren't the ones who don't know better. They're the ones who convince themselves that wrong is right. My daughter was brilliant, top of her class. She knew exactly what she was doing. She just decided it was justified. And that's what I mourn. Not the money, not the marriage, but the moment when my daughter looked at my life and decided it was worth less than $2.7 million. I visit Catherine once a month. She's in a medium security facility in Framingham. We talk about small things, the weather, books she's reading. She never apologizes, never admits real guilt. She talks about me like I'm someone she used to know, someone who disappointed her. I don't visit Emma. She won't see me anyway. Her lawyer says she's still convinced she did nothing wrong, that the justice system failed her. Maybe it did. Maybe I failed her first. I don't know anymore. What I do know is this. I spent 4 decades in courtrooms, defending people's rights, fighting for justice. I thought I understood human nature. I thought I could spot the warning signs, the red flags, the cracks in someone's story. But I never saw the cracks in my own foundation. I never suspected that the people I loved most in the world had already decided I was worth more dead than alive. And I certainly never imagined that my greatest courtroom victory would be putting my own daughter in prison. But here we are. Sometimes students ask me if I regret turning in my wife and daughter, if I wish I'd just given them the money, let them go. I tell them, no. Because some lines can't be uncrossed. Once someone decides your life is expendable, you can't pretend that decision never happened. You can't love someone back into valuing you. You can't negotiate with someone who's already decided you're an obstacle instead of a person. All you can do is protect yourself, document the truth, and trust that the system you dedicated your life to will see justice done. Mine did. It just cost me everything. The last thing I'll say is this. If you're reading this, if you're listening to my story, pay attention to the people around you. Not just what they say, but what they do. Watch how they react when money's involved, when inheritance comes up, when someone gets something they didn't. Because my wife and daughter seemed perfect right up until the moment they decided I was worth more as a corpse. And the scariest part? I never saw it coming. Not until a cardiologist pulled me aside and said 5 words that saved my life. Check your safe. Right now. Trust, but verify. Even with family. Especially with family.